find the first D, the first note of the scale line. What's your plan of action?
To do my scales and get used to shifting and, the exact finger placement.
That's one way you can do it.
Can I answer?
Yes, you can answer.
I would do like a major scale going up and then just put my first finger there.
That's what I normally do. If you're pretty good at figuring out first position, you can just play like beginning of a scale. So A, B, C, D. And then put your first finger where your fourth finger would normally be. And it should match your open D. Yeah. Good. So let's hear you guys play that. If the next note's an A, and we're not going to shift down, what is the next finger you use? On the...
Is it D string?
On the D string, yeah.
3.
Yes, you use your third finger. And then you play first finger again, and then what finger do you use on that F?
Fourth.
Yeah, Sam got it. He's playing already. So you have your D, and we're going to take this really slowly. The 16th note is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? That's the 16th note.
Sounds good.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Separate.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. To that E, it's probably written in your part. You play with the third finger.
Mm-hmm.
The next note.
Wait, I thought that was a C. Man, I need to get better at reading.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, so the second note in the third set of 16 notes is an A. And then you have an E and a G. So you can play your A with an open string, but then you want to replace your finger from one E with your third finger to it with your first finger. So it's almost like it's pretty much a shift.
So
how you replace your fingers.
Is this fifth position now?
Why is it not fifth position?
Is an E fourth position?
Yes, it is now fourth position. Damn it! Now I have to
Sorry,
cut that out
you
too.
can cut that out too. What position is this?
Wait, say it again, just right now.
What position is this in?
It's gonna be in fourth position because it's an E.
Thank you.
Okay. So let's just start with the third beat of that measure. So find your D. Right. So let's do it together now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. And do you know what comes next?
The same thing.
Oh yeah, sorry. Let's do that repeat. Let's play it twice.
From the first one or the second
From
one?
the first one.
Now it looks like third, first. Wait, okay.
What's the fingering for the next section?
Third,
It's a little bit scribbled out.
3, 1, 3, 1. Then you shift down. 1
it's
open,
close.
2 open.
So we know that we would play that E with the first finger, right? And the next note is F. So is F a whole step or a half step above?
I'm sorry, what?
In the second measure, the first note is an F, and then you have an E.
Okay.
You got that?
Yeah.
So we know that the E is being played with your first finger, because that's where we shifted to. in fourth position. So is F, the first note, a half step or a whole step?
A half step.
Right, so are we going to use a whole step fingering with 3-1, or is it going to be a half step fingering with 2-1?
2.
Right. So the next measure is 2-1, and then you replace your 2 with your 4, and do 4-3. And that'll set you up for the next measure, for the next group of 16ths. So let's just try that one little switcheroo. That's your first note with the second finger. Second finger. Now let's switch to E. Now play fourth finger F. Third. And end on the D. Good. So let's just start from the beginning and try putting that together slowly.
Can I ask you an honest question?
Yes.
Should I be playing like the viola way or the actual cello way?
Is this
It doesn't matter. It's your choice, whichever you feel more
As
comfortable
a
with.
teacher, do you think?
As
like,
a teacher.
as someone who wants to be a future teacher, do you think it's better for you to learn this way because that's how most people play, or this way?
It's whatever way you find the way that works for you, and that's the way you teach your students. Like Dr. Wexler believes that pinky on top works better for him. It probably does work better for him. He knows that it works better for him. So that's the way he teaches, but he acknowledges the fact that a lot of cellists do play like this, and bassists play like this.
Yeah.
So he allows you to use this technique also, but he encourages your pinky to be on top.
Okay.
That's mostly because we already play instruments, so we already have a bow hand, quote-unquote bow hand. So he's willing to incorporate both, but if you're just starting kids, you can teach them
Either
whichever way.
You don't think they'll be like looked down upon if they use it this way, like the non-popular way?
I think if it works for them, and they're good and bad.
I'm saying in the
things
real
about
world.
both. So I think if you teach one way and stick to it with your students, and you have a good reason as to why you do that bow hand, teach that bow hand, then it doesn't matter.
Cool.
Okay. So let's just start from the beginning. You guys start from the beginning. You can rock, paper, scissors it. Not really. But whoever wants to pick a tempo. Who wants to pick a tempo?
We're playing together?
Yeah, you're gonna play together, and you're gonna play the first 5 groups of 16th notes. So like the measure and a beat.
Okay.
1 E and does that work? 4 E and
That was pretty good. Can you guys tell me which notes were the most out of tune?
Wait, my fault. We weren't supposed to do A open.
Not before
Not in
you
the
do
first.
the little shift switch.
So the
there.
first 2 beats.
Oh wait.
The first 2 beats you use what finger on the instrument?
3.
Yes.
And then in the fourth beat you go 1 E, 1 A.
No, you can do an open string on those.
I think our F's were out of tune.
Yes, definitely. The half step was a little iffy there between the F and the E. So why don't you guys do the last beat of the first measure and the first beat of the second measure?
I'm sorry, what?
Do the last beat of the first measure into the first beat of the second measure.
Okay.
Do you have a 1 on your E?
Excuse me.
4 E and
There you go. That was right. Now for both of you both did the same thing when you shifted. So I want you guys to play for each other and watch what each of you is doing when you shift, and give some friendly critiques about what you guys are doing wrong.
stopped for a little bit. You paused.
So how can you make that connection smoother?
I think, okay, so when we're shifting, bring your fourth finger up to your first, and then like.
So why don't you try doing that and see how it sounds?
We're in E, right? On E?
F.
But you can start on the E, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then you did the extreme where you like completely crunched your hand, which is like, yes, you want to replace the finger by kind of compressing your hand, I guess, for lack of a better word. You want to move your fourth finger towards your first finger, but you don't necessarily need to make them touch.
Okay.
You just need to be moving your hand in that direction while still holding the note in tune.
Alright, so maybe put your thumb up where it would be.
That's a good idea. Alright, so you guys experimented with that for a little bit. And it sounded a lot better than the first time you played it. And I'm glad you were able to catch each other's mistake.
I didn't catch your mistake.
Well, you're both doing the same thing, and you both came up with an explanation. You knew what happened as soon as I gave you that little question there. But, okay, so let's continue on with that measure. So after you come out of the, you have your third finger on E. What do you need to play the D? What position are we back in?
First?
Yeah, we're, first?
First finger, I meant.
Yeah, first finger. So what
you asked
position?
what position?
What position are we back in? Third. Right.
Okay.
So it's like the beginning, sort of. So you have. And if you just saw what I did, maybe I'll play it again. But it's a finger replacement there. So you're gonna be playing D, A, and then with your first finger and third finger. And then you're gonna shift to second position and do D, A with 2 and 4.
Okay. Why can't we do it with open? Is this just...
Because Dr. Wrestler doesn't like you to play with open strings a lot. Which is a fair thing. You should learn how to
Something
play.
of rule.
Yeah, you should learn to play not open strings all the time. In the case where we were doing the finger replacement, it makes sense because to go like with your bow when it's a smooth line doesn't make sense musically. So here you might as well because you're gonna be crossing strings anyway later on. So let's start on the F again with your finger replacement there. Keep your tempo. We're just gonna start in the first beat of the second measure.
4, E, and
you had the right idea though. You had the right fingering too for the next measure. But let's just for the next beat. But let's get that little finger twister fixed. So play D, measure the open D. And then play A. So then play D. Okay, we're gonna play D with your first finger. And then play D with your second finger. And try and match it, okay? So do it by yourselves. You can start. Okay, so now that you have that finger replacement, placement down. Let's try adding the A in between. So find your D. So you have 1 E and Good. That was a lot more in tune. Good job, guys. So after you have your 4 on that A, what is your next note and what finger are you playing with?
That's it. C sharp.
Is it a C sharp? Yes, it is C sharp. I was testing you. And what finger do you use to play that?
A 1.
Mm-hmm. So then you're going to be using 1, 4, 2, 4. And then the next beat is the same thing repeated. Okay, so let's start at the beginning of that measure and just try and play through the measure.
Okay.
And we'll do it really slowly. Okay, we'll play it real slow. So 4, E, and Yeah, okay. So let's go over these 2 beats one more time. Maybe try it by yourselves. Like, individually, one at a time. So, Lior, why don't you play the first 2 beats? And if you can go on and finish the measure, then go ahead. No, that was good. Good job. And Sam, why don't you
Wait, I don't. Is that C sharp?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So
right.
the half steps are just wider.
Yeah. So, Sam, why don't you give it a try? Okay, you used a bit of a different fingering after when you went from C sharp to A. You used 1 3 instead of 1 4.
I did?
Yeah. So just
Yeah, I didn't even
just
notice.
keep an eye out for that.
Yep.
It's not a huge deal.
I didn't even notice.
Okay, so yeah, good job, guys. That was pretty good. Yeah. So do you want to start from the beginning and just do that much?
I want to do the second measure.
Okay. Do you want to do the second measure together as a group, or what's going to help you most? Just do it by yourself? By yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, oh, another thing I wanted to point out. Play the second measure again, and Sam and I are going to be watching for some little technique things. It could be in your right hand or your left hand.
Okay.
You play it with a 4, not with a 3. That was the same mistake Sam was making before.
Okay.
It's okay, try it again. You're missing the last D to A in that little set, but right idea.
I noticed. I don't think that you're following the advice that you gave me with bringing like the finger.
Yeah. I know.
That is true, and it's definitely something to work on for both of you. There was actually something I was noticing about your right hand. Tell me what the difference between the 2 things I'm about to do. This is number 1. And this is number 2.
You missed more of the bow on the second time.
What were you gonna say?
Your angles are too wide.
Exactly.
You're touching the string so much
The
easier.
angles between the string, the the angle my bow is making with the string is a little big. So instead of going from all the way over on the right or the left side, if you're looking at it, of the A string to the right side of the D string, you can kind of keep it in between strings and just rock it. So let's just try playing a double stop between the A and the D string. We'll do that in whole notes. And then when I say 1, break it into quarter notes and do. And then when I say 2, turn it into eighth notes and go. So let's apply that to what we're doing right now. Let's apply that to what we're doing now in their Scarlatti. Whenever we have string crossings, we're going to imagine it like we're almost playing a double stop, but not really, because we're only going to hit one string. So let's start back at the beginning. And I want to hear you guys play it to do the second measure.
You count off.
1, 3, and 4,
Alright.
We do that again.
slower.
Yeah. Do you guys need to written any fingerings?
I know what I
We
just.
have.
You have fingerings written in stuff?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I noticed you were fumbling around sometimes. But, alright. Yeah, if you want to just try it again.
I find the bow part gets me.
Yeah.
Which bow part?
It's difficult to bow on the cello. Much harder than it is to do the fingerings for me.
Okay, so then let's try just using the bow. Forget the fingerings. You can put your hand down at the side. Let's just play, if we're counting and playing at the speed of 4, E, and 4, E, and then we're just gonna use our bow on the strings that it would be playing on. And try and pace out your bow like you would as if you're playing this piece. Okay? So, 4, E, and
I think I'm flat.
I noticed that just now when we were doing it, I was this part of the bow.
yeah, it's definitely a good idea to use your whole bow. That'll help a lot. Alright, so do you want to... Let's try doing that one more time, and then we'll add the fingers back in. Ready? Frog of the bow.
This
4, E, and Good. Are you ready to add the fingers back in? Do you feel better about the bow now? Okay.
It's just different than the viola.
It is really different. It's different distribution of gravity. Darn
word.
thing.
Correct. Indeed.
That darn too.
Darn thing. Alright, so find your D. Alright. So we're gonna play it to the part where you to the third measure.
Is this actually gonna be this slow? Because Largo was pretty.
Yeah.
slow.
Yeah.
So,
That's how I did it.
no. See, if you look ahead to the second movement, that's like
How many movements do we have to
Not
play?
what we have to play.
you have to play. I think we play all. It was either 2 or 4. You know, I think it might have just. I think we did play 4. I don't remember.
So we're playing movement 1 also, or no?
Oh,
Yeah, we're
there are
doing-
3 segments.
Oh, sorry.
Not like.
I'm
movement
looking at like the mini sections. You're just doing those pages.
Oh, so just one sonata.
So we bought 3 sonatas.
So okay, find your open D.